day, everyone. You have now come back to us, the Speakers Bureau, and we appreciate your time to come in and hear our program. Now, for those of you who do not know about the Speakers Bureau, we are here to inspire, encourage, and motivate our students first, but our entire community. And we do that by bringing guest speakers in that share their life story. They talk about their challenges, they talk about their struggles, and how they were able to overcome. And so you learn a lot of life lessons with the Speakers Bureau as you hear our different speakers. Today I'm so excited because we have a very special guest with us today, and he is Commissioner Sean Mitchell. He's the St. Lucie County Commissioner, and he has agreed to come on and just basically kind of expose his life so that others can be encouraged and motivated as well. So what we do, you can do. And that is what we want, the message we want to get out through our very own life story. So, Commissioner Sean.
Yes, ma'am.
That's what I call you, and you call me Donna. I'm fine with that. But thank you so much for your willingness to come and be a guest for us today.
Indeed, my pleasure to be with you this morning.
Same here. I have known you for many years now and absolutely love what you do and what you represent.
Well, thank you.
And so we appreciate your time. We know how busy it is. Now, I have the first question.
Okay.
You are the Commissioner of St. Lucie County.
That's correct, District 2.
But before that, you also did other work. My question to you is, why did you choose the career that you went into in life and now as a commissioner?
Okay, great question. Back in 1980, I was engaged to a gal, and we had wanted to have a family, and I was going to school, and I worked at a nightclub as a bartender. And of course, you know, you get paid every day as a bartender, but there's no benefits and there's no pension or things to retire with. And I was fortunate enough, I applied for the apprenticeship program up in New York, and I went into the ironworker trade, which is a 4-year apprenticeship program, earn as you learn. But at the end of the day, and it goes fast, 38 years later, I retired last June, and I retired with something that I can retire with dignity with, and that's called a pension. And I had health care that helped me raise my family, 6 children. So,
let's go back a little bit before you continue.
Okay.
Tell the people what you said you went in as an iron worker. You got trained.
Yes.
Talk to us and tell us what that is.
Okay. An iron worker, if you ever looked at the large structures, bridges, the World Trade Center, for example, when that got blown up, the iron workers came and rebuilt that stronger and harder and faster, so that could never happen again. And it's just a multifaceted trade. To be a welder, welding is part of our reinforcing rebar, which is for your concrete, curtain wall, a whole plethora of things.
And how long did that training take place?
It was a 4-year program.
A 4-year. I thought I heard you say 4 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you would start out at 60% of a journeyman's wage, and provided you play by the rules, went to school, showed up for work, worked hard, you would get a 5% increase in pay until 4 years later you graduate the program.
And is that program does it still exist?
Oh, matter of fact, back in 2010, the Board of County Commissioners, the iron workers and a bunch of apprenticeship programs had applied for a grant back in 2010. President Obama had that stimulus, and we were fortunate enough to get a $500,000 grant. And we built the Green Collar Task Force, which is 1 mile north of Midway Road on US 1, right by the Hands Clinic. And we've graduated many people from St. Lucie County that now are homeowners, raising families, because they went through that program.
Well, that's great news.
And you know what the tuition costs?
What was it?
0.
Wow.
We don't charge tuition, provided the man or
Even now?
Yes, ma'am. It's either the male or female that applies for our program. You have to be 18 years of age or older, a reliable vehicle to get you to the job sites, and pass the drug test, and be willing to work hard and learn. No tuition. You pay for your books and, of course, your tools for work, your handheld tools.
Wow. That is such interesting information for those that may be out there now and they say, I didn't know that exists.
You know what the truth of that is? not everybody's college material, but there are still pathways to the middle class.
And to success, yes. Exactly.
Perfect example. I have a son, Patrick. He'll be 33 this year in November. And he, very good singer, loved acting. He got his associate's degree at Indian River State College through a scholarship. And then when he was done, I said, well, what are you going to do now? And he says, well, I don't know, Dad. And I said, well, and he's living with me at the time. And I said, well, I'm going to put you, you're going in the apprenticeship program. You're going to work until you figure it out. And 14 years later, he's a welder at the St. Lucie nuclear power plant. He owns a house, 2 children. His wife just got her master's degree. And then I have a daughter, Ariel, who is a 7th grade math teacher at Manatee Elementary School. Yes. And I'm going to brag here a little bit. Okay. She's going to, when she sees this, she's probably going to be mad. But they take the FSA club test the kids do at the end of the summer to see how they progress. Well, my daughter's math, 7th grade math test, #1.
Wow, yeah. She's making a tremendous difference.
But when I told her,
and this is
like,
math?
I'm so proud of you,
oh my
she said, Dad, it's not me, it's the kids. Well, Ariel, you have something to do with it,
you
too.
You have something to do with it.
Yeah.
Oh, congratulations.
But the point is, there's different pathways to the middle class, you know? I always say to construction workers, dirty hands, clean money. And it's been very good to my family and to my
I love what
offspring.
you're saying right now, that people need to understand that there are different ways of success, of gaining that success. It doesn't have to be 4 years of college.
Oh, ma'am.
But you need to have training in something.
Yes, ma'am.
That is the bottom line. Whatever else you want to do, you mentioned your son, was it, that went to college?
Yes.
And you know, I love acting, I sing, you know, all of that stuff. But you have to have that foundation. You must work.
Absolutely.
And if you don't, you know, make it big, and like I tell the kids all the time, okay, you want to be a football player, you want to be a basketball player. First of all, you got to get out there and practice.
Yeah, you got to work.
And if you're not willing to work it, it's not going to happen no matter how big your dream is.
It's not going to be handed to you.
Right.
You got to go get it.
And in the meantime, choose something else that you can do until you get to that
multifaceted, right?
Right. You choose something else because you got to make a living.
Yes.
You know, so that is great news to hear. So many times we talk about college. And again, it's all about being trained in something.
Amen.
I met a student one time. What do you want to be in life? He said he wanted to be a mechanic.
Okay.
You know, and I said, why? Well, my uncle's a mechanic, and I have exposure. I'm able to go to his shop and blah, blah, blah. I decided that's what I wanted to be. I said, you can become very wealthy as a mechanic if you put the work in.
Amen.
You got to just put the work in. I mean, they make big money, you know? So just to go back into your life a little bit here now. Talk to us. What was it like growing up as a child, a teenager, and a young adult? And talk about any of the challenges you might have had and how you were able to overcome those challenges.
Great question. First and foremost, I'm one of 5 boys. My mom and dad.
All boys.
And my mom, to this day, my mom will be 96 in February. She lives home with us, and we give her all the love and care she can possibly get. But it was, grew up in a little town in Hazlet, New Jersey. My mom was on the school board, president of the school board. My dad was a Cub Scout leader.
This is a 90-something-year-old woman now? She was the school board member at one time?
Yeah, president of the board for many years. And I think that's maybe what made me want to do public service when I got older, you know? And great memories of a childhood. My mom and dad came from the greatest generation. My dad was in World War II. He met my mom out in North Dakota. I don't know what a Navy guy was doing in North Dakota, but he was taking some training classes. And then they both went to Iowa State. And then my dad worked in New York for Colgate-Palmolive for many, many years. But I just have great memories. Many children in our neighborhood, you know, so, I mean, you know when the street lights come on, you had to come home. And just good childhood. I have great memories. Great memories. Really great memories. Now, when you, and then, as I alluded to earlier, when I was in the Ironworkers Union, New York had a downturn in the economy, and there was no jobs, and very expensive to keep your head above water.
This is as a young adult?
Yeah, I was early 30s. And my wife was pregnant with my daughter Ariel, who's the public school teacher, and my brother Kent was working down here, and he said, why don't you come to Florida? You know, expenses aren't as much there, and you can make a good living here, and there's plenty of work. So I made that ultimate decision, and packed up everything, and we came down here, and I didn't know a soul except my parents and my brother, but I worked hard here, got involved in my union, from recording secretary to president, and then business manager for the last 22 years. And it was a game changer for me. It really was. But as you said earlier, nobody's going to hand you something. You got to go work it.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, you really have to work it.
Yeah.
And I think that's if we don't get anything across today.
That metaphor.
Yes, we have to. You have to work it.
Yeah.
If you want to go back to school, you have to work it. Whatever you desire in life, you've got to put the work ethic in that to really make it happen. And you know, for some of us, that's just an automatic. For others, we have to hear it. You know, over and over, so that we can, so that we can move forward in life rather than just be stuck. Because it's not here in this country. You don't have to be stuck.
No. So many opportunities.
Oh my God. And all you have to do is go around to some of these other countries and these third world, I did third world work as a missionary.
We take for granted electricity, running water, things
oh my
of that
God.
nature.
Just having a door in your home, just having windows. You know, just not having to live in little mud hut. I mean, it's incredible what other people go through. And so we need to take full advantage, I tell the young people, take full advantage of what you have. If you only if you have just a single parent that loves you, if you have a grandmother that's raising you that loves you, take full advantage of that, because so many others don't have that. So to hear that you came from a wonderful family and father and mother was together, the dad passed?
Yeah, back in 2000,
Okay. And they were together. How many years together?
Before my dad passed, it was 55 years, I believe.
Wow.
And my mom still, you know, her anniversary is her anniversary.
Yeah, of course, of course. So you mentioned a little bit, you mentioned a lot about your background, your educational background. You went 4 years. Do you get like a degree, a certificate at the end? And that is still going on. They have to do 4 years.
But then you have certain things that you have to keep current, like your welding certificate. Every 6 months you have to at least run a pass and make sure that a CWI, which is a certified welding inspector, takes a look. OSHA, you have to take OSHA 30, CPR first aid every 2 years. So it's journeyman upgrade classes. When you graduate, you're not done learning.
I understand. I've got a couple of credentials. Real estate is one, and then child care credential.
I knew that for some
Director credential. So, and I have to keep those things up. And even as a school board, you got to keep. You have to take certain. And as a master school board member, which I am now, I have to do so many hours a year to maintain that master school board status. So yes, education is important. It doesn't always mean just college. It's just keeping yourself educated. Sean, tell us, if you had a chance, you had a wonderful life upbringing, but if you had a chance for a do-over in life, what would that be?
I'm not so sure that I would do a do-over.
Okay.
I think some lessons in life you have to experience and go through, the good and the bad, to become a well-rounded person. So that's a tough question, because I know that everybody makes mistakes in life, and we're all human beings. But at the end of the day, as long as you learn by what you did and say, ooh, maybe I shouldn't have done that, or maybe I should have done this instead, because
you don't just keep repeating it, you learn.
Well, what's the first sign of insanity? When you continue to do the same thing over and over and you get the same result.
Same results,
but so really, I don't, no, nothing.
I like that answer.
Yeah.
That's a great answer, because you can learn through anything, through the
You
tough
get knocked
time
down, you get back up again.
Yeah, that's a lesson.
And that's why my mom will stay with me, and she'll never go in a nursing home, because when I didn't have a friend in the world, sometimes I didn't deserve to, my mom always had my back. She might have been angry with me, but she had my back, and you know, I'm pretty fortunate to have a mom that's going to be 96 years old this year.
I have a next door neighbor, or had. She just passed not even a month ago, 97 years old.
God bless.
And when she came and moved, like, 9, 10 years ago,
Yeah.
came and moved to Florida from New York.
Okay.
She, you know, saw a relative here, had a nice home, and
Yeah.
she had her savings, and she made up her mind in her 80s to move to Florida, and happened to become my next door neighbor.
It's never too late, is
And
it?
her son, who lives in another state, always made sure that everything she needed, her bills and so forth, was taken care of. And so, you know, and never put her in a nursing home. Her last couple of years, she began to have the senility that you go through sometimes, you know,
My
being
mom's
older.
just actually mostly mobility, being able to here and there. So.
Yeah, well, she ended up with both just the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And her secret was she was a runner.
Oh.
And then after she could no longer run, she was a walker. And she walked all over that neighborhood in her 80s, just walk over that. In fact, she passed out one day going into her 90s, walking around the neighborhood.
Because it was a hot summer day.
Whatever it was, you know. But, okay, so, Sean, do you have something that you're most proud of?
My children, I think, my children and my grandchildren, a person's legacy in life, because maybe I have 6 kids and 7 grandbabies, but my legacy in life is my children and my grandchildren, my family.
I certainly understand
and my relationship with God.
Yes,
You know?
okay, that's important too, yes. Gives you a little foundation there.
Amen,
Big foundation.
yes.
Okay, do you have a favorite music type like you like to listen to?
Well, I'll admit it, 63 years old, and 70s light rock, you know, music, Elton John, Billy Joel, things of that nature.
I got you.
know.
That's why I'm a Motown lover.
There you go. Oh, Motown too. Marvin Gaye and the rest of them.
Oh
yeah.
my gosh, yeah.
Earth, Wind and Fire.
Oh,
Oh
all
my
of them.
God.
Oh, that was my husband's favorite
Yeah.
group.
Still
Earth,
that
Wind and
one
Fire.
song. Oh, yeah, good stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
So, if you could travel anywhere around the world, where would you go and why?
You know, I've been fortunate when I had my job with the Iron Workers Union. I traveled around this country. I mean, I've been out as far as California, Hawaii, Europe. I would like to see I'd love to see Venice someday. I'd love to go to London, Ireland, where my roots are, Go County Cork, and just see some Europe. And then we're going to make some time for that, my family and I. So that's on the bucket list.
Great. What teacher in school?
Miss Cameras, 3rd grade. No question on that one. No question on that.
Why?
I was a bright student.
I thought you was going to say I was a brat and she was able to handle me.
I had a big crush on her too. That didn't, you know.
Okay,
she was
bright, not brat. Okay,
right.
go ahead.
But I always got check marks next to exercise of self-control, and that means I was bright. I got straight A's, but I loved to talk. And it's detrimental to a classroom. You know the answer. You're screaming it out.
Through that
no, that's not the way. So she created this thing called Student of the Month, and you had to do what exactly it took. And 3 out of the 4 marking periods. I got Student of the Month. And it was because of her pushing me and saying, "You're a bright child, but let's round you off into a." And she did it. So yeah, great lady. And
you remember her
oh my
because
God,
of
I'll
that.
never forget it. Yeah.
She helped you learn self-control.
Yeah.
Because I also at that early part of life was a big talker, and I felt as if I could not sit there all day in the classroom and not have conversation with the other kids. I just couldn't do it for a while. I grew out of it, but so I get that. Are there any others that you want to mention? Anybody that made a tremendous impact on your life, and why?
It comes to mind a few of them. There was a fellow named Bill Haynes who was the mayor of my town, and he was the owner of the, we were on the boardwalk in New Jersey, and he had a nightclub there, and all really good acts there, and food and things of that nature. And when I was right out of school and taking some college classes, he offered me a job, and he got me involved in civics and what government really does to help people. He appointed me to the Planning and Zoning Board when I was in my 20s up in New Jersey, and always admired his work ethic and caring for people in the community. He would always, any sad story he ever heard, he dug into his pocket, you know, and he was just that kind of person, so it meant a lot to me. And my dad. My dad, I had the utmost respect for in the world. My dad was a good family man. He cared very much for his family, you know, and he spoiled my mom.
Oh, yeah, so he was a good example.
Yeah, he did. He spoiled my mom.
Now, you are today a county commissioner. Tell us why you chose to go into that.
Okay. When I knew that I'd be retiring from the ironworkers, and I had planned this throughout my life, and I knew at the age it would benefit me to retire and let some of the younger people take it and train those people to, you know, so there wouldn't be a bump in the road. And I had served on your Career Source Board for the last 16 years. I'd been on the Contractor Licensing Board, Planning and Zoning Board, volunteer in the Special Olympics, United Way. And I just, you know, after much thought, talking to my wife, because that was the most important thing. What do you think, hon? You know, and she encouraged me, and then some officials in the county I spoke to, and you know what? The old saying is, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. And I really love working for the county and helping people. I get so much joy out of it.
Yeah.
I really do. Yeah.
I definitely can relate with that, because it's about time for me to retire. And the one thing I don't want to retire from is a school board member or doing something as an elective official to continue to help our county at large.
Best feeling in the world.
Oh yes, oh yes. We worked with children for many, many years, but to be able to have this position broadens the amount of children that you can make a tremendous difference. You know, we still have our after-school program. We help a certain group of children, so a certain number of children. But to be in a position that I can help over 40,000 students, and also their teachers who are frontline heroes and make a tremendous difference in a child's life, not just with their ABCs and their math and their reading skills, but social skills.
That's so important.
Balancing life. These
So
teachers,
when you
our
meet
teachers
somebody,
are
to look them in
tremendous.
the eyes and shake their hand and say, nice to meet you.
Oh my God.
Well, my children will tell you.
Yeah, we do that in our after-school program.
Sure.
We help the children be able to stand up and speak, be able to come in and say good morning, good afternoon, to be able to say please. I mean, these things
Thank
that
you.
otherwise, you don't hold your head down when you're talking to people. You
Social skills.
Social skills, which they fall right into line, but they do need someone that will teach them.
And encourage.
And encourage them, yes. How do you spend your free time? You're a very busy man. How do you, you know? Well, you did retire from the one thing, but as a commissioner, I know you're all over the place.
It's nonstop, but I enjoy being busy. But in my off time, I got a 7-year-old boy that loves basketball. He always asks me, matter of fact, my brother's in town, and he took him to the Celtics Magic game last night.
Oh, wow.
And when he saw the stadium, he looked at my brother, his uncle, and said, can I give you a hug?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but my children, I do enjoy a round of golf. I like sports, mostly family though. If we can plan a quick trip somewhere or something like that, you know, family's important to me.
Okay. Do you have a hero? It could be living or past, outside of your parents. I know they're your number one hero, but someone that really you admire that stood out in history or even currently now. It doesn't have to be personally in your life, but someone, have you ever thought about that? That if you had, so who's your hero?
I'm trying to drill it down to one. But,
well, we've got about 5 more minutes, but...
Good, perfect example, Abraham Lincoln, when his speech, and it cost him his life. But to me, that's a hero. But you can go back to the Declaration of Independence, Hamilton. I mean, there's so many different ones that, you know, bring to mind that they helped form the greatest country in the world, which we live in today.
Exactly. And my hero is Harriet Tubman.
Okay.
And it's because after she got her freedom from the South,
she went back.
She went back. That's why she's my hero. Not just one time. I mean,
read
they had a high bounty on her head, and they never were able to catch her, and she never lost a passenger. So when people got afraid, you know, being in the wooded area and everything, and wanted to go back because they thought, you know, going through puddles or what, she never lost a passenger. She says, "Oh no, you can't go back, because if you go back, they're gonna make you tell."
Right.
You know, and not just her, but also the Underground Railroad. They go with her. They're my heroes because they were able to help people that were being mistreated and oppressed. And it was a horror story for my people back then, my ancestry line here in this country. So for those folks that will stand in the gap and say, no, we're not taking it, you're not going to mistreat people, they always, I admire them greatly. And so,
as you should.
Yeah, so, okay. I'm going to ask you this.
Okay.
I know you're afraid of something. I know everybody's afraid of something, but what they do with that fear makes the difference. Can you think of what you're most afraid of? Can you share that with us?
Yeah, I can. Back in 1992, when I had been here for 1 year living in Florida, and you always want a pool, and we had a pool. And my daughter Ariel, who we alluded to a few moments ago, that's a public school teacher, she had a near fatal drowning.
Oh my God.
I found her floating in the pool. I thought it was, and when I looked out the window from the kitchen, I thought it was one of my daughter's dolls.
Oh my God.
And she was twice her size.
How old?
She was a little over 1.
Oh boy.
And then we had I called 911, did what CPR I knew. Now every 2 years, I'll always re-up for my CPR first aid courses. And they had an airbag her, bagged her a couple times, took her down to St. Mary's, and by the grace of God, we got her back. So losing a sibling, losing a child or something like that, really, that racked my brain there for a little while. But by the grace of God, look, she's doing good as a teacher, and she's got 2 beautiful children.
#1 in the math area. I mean, that's like teaching math.
But I think that you
incredible.
don't want to outlive your children.
Yeah.
To me, that's my biggest fear, I think, sometimes,
Yeah, I get that. Okay, and it's so good that we have programs that teach children how to swim.
Oh, yeah.
And especially I'm thinking of one particular one, I don't know if they're still doing it or not, but they would teach children, that it would provide the way that children could be taught to swim free of charge.
Sure.
And during the summertime. And most of the kids that we work with, our after-school children, they don't know how to swim.
No.
So that program made a huge difference in the community.
Absolutely.
Because we were able to take them to the community pool, and they would have instructors and teach them. Before that, I taught a lot of children to swim, and guess what? I really can't swim. I know the basics, but let my feet.
The key is for children that age, float.
Yeah.
They have to learn how to float.
Yes. And what I learned was once you expose a child, they take off, and they would outdo it, become great swimmers. The guys would jump off of the, at the college pool, jump over the thing, and I'm like, I taught that guy how to swim.
What a good
But
feeling.
he doesn't know that I hardly know how. Just those basics, floating. Well, I've told them that story over and over. They get a big kick out of that because now they're in their adulthood.
Right.
And it was because of our organization. It made a difference in their life. Yeah. So, we got 50 minutes left. I got so involved in talking with you, I hardly kept time with the clock. But I guess I don't have any more questions because we ran out of time.
Well, thank you so much for having me on
I want to thank you for coming.
And I wish you the happiest of holidays. Merry Christmas, happy holidays.
And you do the same, you and your family, your lovely family. And we're so proud of you as part of our commissioner. You've done a great job the last 3 years.
Thank you.
And so we just wish you all the best in your endeavor. And I hope you're willing to come back sometime. Your conversation was so interesting that I got caught up in it. And so we just want to say thank you, Sean. Thank you for coming.
You made me feel very comfortable, and thank you. I'd love to be back.